The directions were cryptic. No address. No map. Just a handwritten note tucked inside a borrowed book Ella had picked up from a second-hand shop. It read, "Come hungry. Bring nothing. Follow the scent of sesame and smoke." And so she did. The scent led her through alleyways most people ignored, behind a flower stall, under a low archway, past crates of vegetables and a locked green door with no handle. She knocked twice, waited, then knocked again 3 times, as the note had instructed. The door opened. A woman stood there, her apron stained, her eyes steady. She didn't ask for Ella's name. She only tilted her head and said, "You're just in time for stock." The kitchen was small but deep. One long counter ran along a fogged window, another wrapped around a brick oven that glowed with heat. No one spoke loudly. No orders were shouted. Everything moved with a rhythm so practiced it felt like music. And no dish looked the same twice. Ella was handed an apron and a paring knife. "Sit. Peel. Listen." She obeyed. There was no menu, no receipts, no reservations, just ingredients and stories and strangers who became something else once they began to cook. To her left, a man shaped dumplings with fingers as quick as sparrows. He spoke of his grandmother's hands, how they folded grief and garlic into every wrap. To her right, a woman stirred a dark pot and whispered about a brother lost at sea, and how this stew always brought him home. Ella peeled ginger. Thin ribbons curled under her blade. No clocks. No phones. Just steam and memory. The hidden kitchen, as she would come to know it, was not about cuisine. It was about care. Each dish told a story, not in its ingredients, but in its intention. The broth wasn't just hot. It warmed the unspoken. The rice wasn't just fluffy. It held together things that might otherwise fall apart. A bell rang softly. Time to serve. The back wall opened to a courtyard bathed in dappled light. A long wooden table stretched from one end to the other. Strangers arrived in 2s and 3s. No one spoke of where they came from or why they were here. They simply Saturday. Ella carried out a tray of roasted eggplants drizzled in tahini and lemon. Another cook followed with bowls of noodles steeped in 5-spice and scallions. A third brought warm bread, torn and stacked, still breathing out flour. And then they all ate. No orders. No chatter. Just the sound of chewing, of spoons tapping bowls, of wine being poured. Occasionally someone would sigh, a deep, quiet sound like a knot loosening inside. She sat across from a man with rough hands and kind eyes. He offered her a bowl of pickled carrots without a word. She accepted. Each bite held something sacred. As the meal waned, candles were lit, one by one, and with them came voices. Not loud, not formal, but soft stories. Of lost mothers and returned sons. Of recipes remembered through dreams. Of cities that no longer existed but lived on in sauces and simmer. Ella found herself speaking too. Not of places, but of a feeling, of standing at a window as a child, watching her father cook eggs in silence. How he never spoke, but always plated hers with the yolk facing east. Someone at the table nodded, eyes shining. A hand reached across the table, not to hold, just to touch, briefly. After dessert, figs with honey and crushed pistachios, they cleared the table together. The kitchen, now dim, was filled with the hush of aftermath. No praise, no applause, just satisfaction. Before Ella left, the woman at the door pressed something into her palm. A card, blank except for a single line. Next time, bring your story in salt. Ella stepped into the night, her stomach full, her chest fuller. Behind her, the kitchen exhaled. And above her, the stars flickered like candle flames waiting for their next meal. She whispered, "Thank you for feeding what words couldn't reach."